Huh? Can you tell me what I did wrong?
Okay. Shut your car off.
What I do wrong?
Shut your car off.
Come on, shoot me.
Shut your car off.
He wanna shoot me.
Got a gun.
Where?
Gun.
Where?
Shut the car off.
Where? My hand in the air.
Shut the car off. Shut
Nah, hey, come shut the car off. I ain't moving my hands. He trying to shoot me. He trying to shoot me.
Shut the car off.
Nah, I ain't moving. No, my hand in the air.
Shut the car off.
My hand in the air. My hand in the air. My hand in the air. My hand in the air.
Need units at Midland Heights.
My hand in the air. My hand in the air.
All you got to do is drive off.
What I was doing? What was I doing? What was I doing? My hand in the air. My hand in the air.
Shoot me. To comply with the law.
Shoot me. My hand in the air.
I'm not going to shoot you, but you're not going to move those hands.
My hand in the air. My hand in the air. You telling me to shut my car off so you can shoot me? Come on now. 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 Shoot me. Hey, get in your car.
I'm filming too.
Oh, it's in my name. It's registered. It's registered. Shoot me.
I'm filming too.
I'm filming. I ain't did nothing.
You failed to comply with a lawful order.
What
you
I
were
do?
told to leave the parking
I
lot.
was pulling off. I couldn't hit his
come
car.
back.
I couldn't hit his car. How I come back? How did I come back?
You never left the parking lot.
I just pulled up when they called me and told me, oh, we finna go to Jonesboro. We leaving from Jonesboro.
Step out the car.
Hey, I'm not putting I ain't touching that thing. He trying to shoot me. Hey, you come put it in the park. You put it in the park.
Step out the car.
What you pushing my hand for?
Step out the car.
What you pushing my hands for?
Hey.
What you pushing my hands for?
We're gonna air it out there.
What you pushing my hands
Out the
for?
car.
How can I step out the car? What you pushing my hands for? Come on now.
We're going to get out the car one way or the other.
Hey, you gonna put it in park? I'm not, cause you trying to shoot me,
Step
bro.
out the
Come on.
car.
Put it in park for me. Yes, sir. Come on.
Put it in park for you. How am I going to put it in park?
I'm telling him to put it in park. I'm not talking to you. You trying to shoot? What you pushing my arms back for? What you pushing my arms back for? Come on. Come on. Come on. Hey, put it in park for me.
Get out. Get out the car. Turn over.
For what?
Here.
For what? For what?
Turn over.
See, that's on live, right? And that gun in my
I
knife.
got a body cam on too. Get up.
I'm trying to see what you snatched me out the car for.
Get up.
Help me up.
Get under your feet.
Help me.
Get under your feet.
Come on, help me up.
Get under your feet.
Hey, Fat, get my phone.
Yeah, his phone right here.
Y'all just saw this level of fuckery. All 4 minutes and 30 whatever seconds of it. And this right here goes right into the narrative that we are in the middle of a war zone right now. If you don't realize how much of a war zone we are in right now, let this video that just played for you before my voice kicked in display that for you in real time. Before I get started, I have to give a huge shout out to that brother because he was not falling for the okie doke. Anybody who without a sound mind, any black person, especially a black man without a sound mind, would have easily fell for the okie doke and they would have got shot. But this guy knew better. He already knew what time it was. He knew this cop had every intention of wanting to kill a black person that night. It didn't matter. It could have been another black person. It didn't have to be him, but he was the one that got caught in his crosshairs. But he didn't fall for it. Now, apparently, I don't know what the entire story is with this whole situation, but before I go any further, do you know they still haven't even released the name of this cop yet? Now, by the time this video gets uploaded, they may have released the person's name. I'm not entirely sure. But they saying right now that the cop's name is still unknown. We just know what he looks like. And we know that he ain't shit and will never be shit. So he, like many of these other cops, and I've talked about this in other commentaries before, will give so many conflicting commands and everything like that just in hopes that a black person slips up just so they can have a reason to shoot them. The obvious one was when he told him to turn the ignition off. First off, the black guy did the right thing having his hands up in the air because that means that there's nothing there. The other smart thing the black man did was have his phone out. He had one empty hand and the other hand was his phone. He's also very lucky because, you know, a lot of cops like to say that their phone resembles a gun. I don't know how they do it, but whatever. So he had one hand free and one hand out that was holding the phone so he could record. That damn cop said, do not, he said, take your key out of the ignition. He said, nope, because if I move my hand right there, you're going to say that I pulled the gun and that you're going to shoot me. And then he yelled out that he had a gun. The reason why he did that is because he did not know that the black guy was holding a phone in his hand recording him. He was yelling that as a command to the other officers that were around, like his the rest of his unit. But he was like, I don't have a gun. He was like, they was looking like, what are you talking about? I don't have a gun. And it really looked bad on him because the black guy had both hands out of the window. So there was no gun in his hand. And his team could see that. So he had to keep trying to switch up narratives in order to have a reason to want to shoot him. So he went from that to telling him he needs to drive off. He was doing anything that he could to make it seem like, to make it where this guy had to move his hands in a motion that would look like he was grabbing a gun. This is exactly what happened with Philando Castile a couple years ago. When he told him to get something out of the glove box, he went to go get it. He said, gun, 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 pop, 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 pop. See, it works like a charm for them every single time. But this guy, from experience and seeing what we have dealt with over the years when it comes to situations as these, know this, or maybe he knows this from previous experience. Who knows that this is the first time he's ever gotten pulled over by a cop? Well, he said he's coming, that they were going to Jonesboro, so he may or may not know who this cop was. And he kept trying to come up with different scenarios every single time, and you can tell he was getting frustrated because he's like, damn, this nigga is too smart. He's got me. He's not like the other ones. And notice that he kept pointing his flashlight in the direction of the black guy's phone to try to blur out or so you couldn't see what was going on. And when that cop realized that he was too dumb for his own good, or he wasn't smart at all, and that black guy was too smart for him, he got frustrated because notice he walked over and pushed his hand out of the way, like really hard and aggressive, not the one with the phone in his hand, but the free hand. And he was like, why you push my hand like that? He was frustrated because he could not kill him that night. He was mad that this black guy had the one up on him. He saw this guy, heard him talk in the vernacular that he was speaking in, and thought he was one of them dumb niggers. That's probably what was going through his head. But guess what? There's a lot of people say that they don't like Pookie and Ray Ray and these street niggas and all of that shit. But that guy looks like what people will say is a Pookie and Ray Ray. And guess what? Pookie and Ray Ray survived because he used his street smarts, something a lot of people don't have. Common sense is what the technical term is for. And that's what saved his life. Yeah, it got him hemmed up a little bit and everything like that. And they even, when the camera went off of him, he even tried to get him again when he was on the ground and had him in cuffs and whatnot. They said, get up. He said, are you going to help me up? Like, how was he going to be able to get up and he was handcuffed behind his back? Like, how? And he probably would have did this so he could say he had a gun and try to shoot him. He tried everything he could in order to try and kill this man, but he was not successful. But like I said, this is the shit that we as black people, especially black men, have to deal with day in and day out on a daily goddamn basis. And it's hard to deal with when you have pretty much the majority of society against you. When they'll say, well, if you didn't do this and do that. Now, the crazy thing about this is, if this guy would have got shot and killed, the narrative would have went from, oh, that cop is horrible, he needs to be fired, he needs to be convicted. It would have said, well, that black guy should have complied. Next time when they make an order, you comply and you do this and you do that. That's exactly what the so-called dominant society would have went with. Because they will always take the word of that cop over our black ass. Every single time. Because that's them being on code. Even if they know what that cop did was extremely fucked up. And it was. It makes you wonder how many more black people has he done this to? Because he did that too smoothly. It doesn't seem like this is his first ride at the rodeo. It's just the first time that it didn't work. You can tell by the look on his face and the way in his body language and the way that he couldn't finish some of his words when the black guy was talking back to him that he was frustrated that he couldn't kill him or at least shoot him or have a quote unquote reason to do it. He was looking for a reason to kill him that night. Notice he went through so many conflicting scenarios. So many conflicting narratives that did not make any sense. And that black guy was able to dodge every last one of them as if he was Neo in the Matrix. So kudos to that brother for being able to successfully evade what could have been a tragedy. He could have been the next hashtag. We could have been seeing him on the news. And then that would have been another damn cop. They would have said, well, we did what we could. We put him on paid administrative leave, but we can't bring no charges against him. That's how that whole thing would have played out. Because it's a simple wash, rinse, repeat with these individuals every single time. It never fails, except in this instance. They need to find this cop, they need to find him and deal with him accordingly. I don't know why they say find like as if he's on the run, but his ass needs to be fired and convicted because they got his ass lying on that camera. He is upset, more so because he got caught on camera lying. Many of them have, and many of them don't even get put through the ringer. I'm not going to hold my breath when it comes to him, but I'm just glad that the brother is okay. He was just upset. And see, the thing is, I'm surprised he didn't take it further and say that this guy was being insubordinate. Because, it's just the weirdest shit to me. It really is. Like, the stuff that they come up with to try and get us. And sometimes, unfortunately, many of us will fall for it. And that's what they're expecting. Hopefully many black people can take a lesson from this video and be like how this guy was. Not saying it's going to work every single time because everybody, when you're dealing with cops like that, pigs like him, it's not always going to work out in your favor. We just hope that we don't get into those situations. And this is exactly why a lot of black people in particular are very weary when it comes to dealing with law enforcement, especially the white ones. There are some coons out there, but you saw the way that this guy was. He was trigger happy and was so upset that he couldn't pull that happy trigger finger. He probably went to the range and saw that man's face on the target and started to shoot at it in hopes that it was him in real life. You never know what these goddamn police officers are like when they're shooting at them targets. As a matter of fact, I'll give you one scenario. Y'all remember that story that came out in Florida a couple years ago where they said that the cops were at the shooting range and they put up mugshots of black inmates that they arrested? And the way that it got exposed was because one of the girls, one of the sisters of one of the inmates went down there to visit, I think, her brother, and she saw his mugshot with bullet holes in it, and I think it was on a target, and that's how it got exposed. So when they are shooting us, I'm trying to get my words together. Just know that they have always had on their mind of killing us. Why do you think every time they get into a confrontation with a white person, they never shoot them? The most they'll do is tase them. It's rare that they'll shoot them. It's even more rare that they'll shoot and kill them. But the last few videos I've seen, one of them fighting them and then hop in the damn cruiser and drives off. Another one just managed to get into the cruiser and drive off. I wish a black person would. That'll never happen. They wouldn't even be able to touch the damn car door handle. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I will talk to you in the next one. Oh, and before I forget, because I should have mentioned this earlier, is that a brother in the picture, that other cop standing in the third picture? If so, his ass should be ashamed of himself.